Welcome back to the Cleveland Indians franchise here on MLB 15 The Show. I am back. I got a new mic, and we are recording a commentary here in the playoffs, taking on the Detroit Tigers in the ALDS. Game 4 of the ALDS. We currently have a 2-1 lead in the series, looking to close it out here in Game 4, as the pitchers on the mound will be David Price and Danny Salazar. It's a funny matchup, actually, because these two were facing off in the 2013 American League wildcard game, and then I think it was David Price. It might have been Alex Cobb, actually. But their teams faced off before in the wildcard game, not the ALDS, but in the wildcard game. And then I had both of these guys when I did my Diamondbacks franchise last year in MLB 14 The Show. I had Danny Salazar as my number 2 starter and David Price as my number 1 starter in, I believe, year 2. I don't remember if I had Danny Salazar in the first year or not. But anyway, we are here in the postseason now with the Cleveland Indians. The Diamondbacks franchise is a thing of the past. But as you can see, Game 4, we're in Comerica Park, so that does give them a little bit of an advantage, I'd say. But I don't think that it's going to be a big deal. I think our team has a pretty good chance of closing it out in this episode. And so I'm not going to really worry too much about who has home field or not, because, to be quite honest, our team is the best team in baseball this year, so we should have the advantage no matter where we go. But here we'll look at the pitchers. Danny Salazar has not started in the playoffs yet. David Price started in the wild card game for the Detroit Tigers, and he went the complete game, giving up one run, not one strikeout, but he struck out, I believe, 10 batters in that game, went the entire way, and gave up 1 run. So here's our starting lineup. As you can see, David Murphy's hitting 83, and Mike Aviles has no hits. The only reason Mike Aviles is so high in the lineup is because he's a right-handed hitter, and we're going up against a left-handed pitcher. Otherwise, I would put him at the bottom. But David Murphy's struggling so far these playoffs. I think he has 1 or 2 hits and like 15 at-bats. So anyway, David Price on the mound didn't have such a great year. 3.5 ERA, almost 9-13, and only struck out 188, which is down from his usual totals. So we'll see if he can do well in this playoff game, though, as it's the top of the first, and Jason Kipnis is up against a lefty. Not particularly great against lefties, but Yoenis Cespedes dives and misses that ball, and Jason Kipnis is going to get all the way over to third base, and Cespedes took a little bit to get up, and he actually played the role of cutoff man right there. As you can see, that he hurt himself pretty bad, and he's not going to be able to come back for the rest of the game. For the Detroit Tigers, a huge loss for their lineup and a must-win game, as Rajai Davis will be taking over in left field for the injured Cespedes. But Carlos Santana was up after another out, and he is going to go down swinging on that one. Cannot hold up his swing. And so 2 outs right here for Brandon Moss, and he is going to fly out. So we squander an opportunity at scoring a run despite a leadoff triple from Jason Kipnis. And now we're going to see what Brad Ausmus and the Detroit Tigers have to offer today. Anthony Gose, Jose Iglesias, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Rajai Davis, JD Martinez, Ian Kinsler, Nick Castellanos, and Alex Avila are his 9 out in the field and did the DH spot today. Danny Salazar, 14-9 this season, 3.29 ERA, 202 strikeouts, so arguably better this year than David Price. Was 0.2 of a run better and had more strikeouts, although you can't really judge that because we didn't see David Price's innings totals, so that's a big variable in that. And I actually showed the lineup twice. I don't know why. I didn't show my lineup at all, I don't think. No, I did. I'm stupid. Whatever. We're seeing their lineup again. So, I don't know how that happened. I guess I just didn't watch when I was editing it. But we see Danny Salazar sets again, which is kind of dumb. But we'll carry on after this. Sorry for this minor brain fart, I guess. That's what you could really call it. Waiting still. I don't know why I kept so much presentation in the game, but anyway, first batter of the game, up 3-2 count, and he's going to swing at that. That was definitely a ball, but he swung at it anyway, and he is going to be out, and we throw it to first in time. And then Jose Iglesias now, he's going to jab this one up the middle. No one can get it for the infield, and so there's going to be a runner on for the Detroit Tigers as Miguel Cabrera's up with a 3-2 count, and he's actually going to walk. So they have 2 runners on and only 1 out. A good start to the game for Salazar, but he's not kept it up well since then. 3-2 count right here, and that is going to be into left field. and Brantley throws it in time to stop a run, but the bases are loaded with 1 out. So, barring a double play, we're in bad position right here. That one's going to be hit right up the middle, and Ben Revere throws off the arm right there. Not something that you will probably ever hear anyone say. But 1 run comes across, another 3-2 count, and this is going to be turned into a double play. So Danny Salazar threw a lot of 3-2 counts in that inning. So gives up a run, but David Price is on the mound. So we're trying to get a hit off of him, and I believe it's Yan Gomes who gets the hit right there. It's our first hit of the game. Or not our first hit of the game. What am I talking about? It's another base runner, though. 3-2 count right here, and they are going to get a walk here for Francisco Lindor. And then Ben Revere is up with a 2-1 count, and he's going to slap that one into right field. He was off running as soon as he hit that one in, and so the bases are loaded for the next batter, who is David Murphy, and he is going to ground into a double play. It brings a run home, but it will not matter as that's the end of the inning. So bottom of the third now, 3-2 count, and we are going to get the batter swinging right there. I actually don't know who that is, but here is Nick Castellanos up at bat, and he is going to get called looking top right corner of the strike zone. Nasty spot. And Danny Salazar was really hitting his spots after that first inning. Struggled a little bit to start off, but he really picked it up, and Ben Revere is actually going to beat out the throw by 3 or 4 steps right there. So we have an infield hit for Ben Revere, and he is off running as usual. What else do you expect from Ben Revere, the American League leader in stolen bases this season? And the next batter is going to slack fly him over to third base and see what we can do with the next batter. And the next batter is going to be Brandon Moss, and he is going to hit this one out to left field. So situational hitting, and we get 1 run to come across. It was actually pretty close, I thought, for Ben Revere. Even it was a pretty close call. We didn't know if he was going to be out or safe or what. 2-2 count for Michael Brantley, and he's actually going to get on right there in a broken bat single, as the third baseman Nick Castellanos did not hustle to that ball at all, and David Price could not get to it quite in time. Carlos Santana here, 1-1 count, and he is going to lash this one into right field. Brantley is coming all the way around from first base. He's going to try and score a run, and it's going to be close. The play at the plate is in time, and the Indians only get 1 run out of that inning. They could have more, but Brantley went for it all. It was good effort, but just not quite enough. Nice strikeout right here for Danny Salazar, as he's racking up the K totals tonight. He's been solid ever since his rough first inning. Next batter for us is going to be Brandon Moss, and he is going to walk, so David Price distributes a walk right there. He gets another out, but then Mike Avila is right here. His first hit of the playoffs is going to be a double off the top of the right field wall, and we're actually going to do something stupid, and we're going to send Brandon Moss to third, so we waste a base runner right there, and we have Avila's at second with an 0-2 count for the next batter. But we're actually going to see what happens here. Mike Aviles is going to score a run, or that's Yan Gomes actually, not even Mike Aviles, I'm sorry for that. Yan Gomes is actually going to score a run. He comes all the way home from second on the passed ball and then the errant throw, so the Cleveland Indians actually take the lead on a very strange play. And then the next batter, Francisco Lindor, is just going to bounce that one back to third. So luckily we got a score on defensive mistakes, because otherwise we would have really wasted a run right there. A prime run scoring opportunity after we already blew one before. But anyway, the next Tigers batter gets a hit, and then this is Jose Iglesias, I believe, striking. It's Jose Iglesias striking out right there. A good pitch by Salazar, really hitting the corners today. And then Miguel Cabrera is going to hit this one into a double play. So we really get out of the inning very nicely right there. Now it's going to be Danny Salazar's not on the mound anymore. I believe this is, actually not 100% sure who's pitching for us right now. But as you can see, the stream kind of froze right there when I was streaming this, because this is still Season 1, so I was still streaming the games. But next batter, 3-2 count, and he is going, this is Victor Martinez, I believe, and he's going to hit this out to center field, and Ben Revere is actually going to throw it home. It would have been on time, but it's off target, and so the Tigers tie the game up right there with that single. 2 runners on, 3-2 count, and that one is going to be pounced high in the air, and is going to be thrown over to first base by Yan Gomes. Alright, top of the 8th now. We got Carlos Santana. This time hitting from the left side of the plate as a right-hander is on the mound now for the Detroit Tigers. Brandon Moss is up next. He's got a 3-2 count, and he's going to be called strike and out right there. And that is a very debatable call, but it was called that nonetheless, so we do have to deal with it. And then another diving play by a left fielder is going to really cost the Tigers right here, as that's going to lead to a run all the way from first base. It would have been over to third anyway, but the throw is offline, and he almost got tagged out again. So Ian Kroll comes into the game now with a 1-run lead for the Cleveland Indians, a 3-2 count right here, and this one is going to be hit to the left side of the infield and thrown over to first base. So he has a good first out of the game. And then Francisco Lindor is going to hit this one into right field. We're not going to send the runner home this time. We're going to keep him at third, but the inning will go on. A 3-2 game right here. And Ben Revere up with a 3-1 count. And he is going to lash that one back up the middle, but it was thrown to second in time. So we exit the inning with just a 1-run lead. Cody Allen would come in to save the game in the bottom of the 9th against the Detroit Tigers in their home park. They need to get a run right here. The first batter is JD Martinez, and he is going to strike out. I might have had the Martinez backwards, but one Martinez was earlier and one Martinez was later. And then this next batter was going to strike out as well. I believe that was Rajai Davis. Did not have a lot of highlights this game. And then the next batter pops that one up after a runner got on. And the Cleveland Indians are back in the ALCS for the first time in many years. And they will be facing off against the Boston Red Sox, who were just champions 2 years ago. They will be facing off against them for a right to play for the American League in the World Series. Who is going to win the AL pennant? I don't know. You're going to see that next episode, though. The next episode of this is going to be Game 1 of the ALCS, and that will be out tomorrow on the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you later for more Indians baseball.